Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Keara Sternberg. I'm a rising senior at Skidmore College. I'm studying sociology and minoring in international affairs, intergroup relations and honors forum. And last spring I attended the SIT program in Samoa, studying Pacific communities and social change.
Great. So thank you for joining me today. So I guess my first question is, what's the reasoning why you chose this specific Samoa program?
So my semester was really inspired by my first year in college when I took a first year seminar that was titled Music, Race, and Class. And that class sort of looked at the intersection between all three. And one of the case studies that we looked at was
Okay.
so I think that course really made me more interested in studying the Pacific, the only programs I could find within all the different study abroad programs.
Great. And so what are some of the skills that you feel you gained while on the program?
I definitely learned a lot of patience. The way that things work in Samoa time-wise is very different than what I'm used to here in the States. So I learned that things just happen at a more leisurely pace, and that was something that I had to readjust to, both in the classroom and with families outside of the classroom and with people in general. And I think I had a very basic, but I think somewhat comfortable grasp of the language, and that was really rewarding. And I just learned how important it is to work with people instead of just alone.
Definitely. And so, I guess you touched on this a little bit, but is there anything else you feel like you learned on the Samoan program that you wouldn't have learned, back at school or even in the U.S.?
I think definitely I have opportunities to do so at Skidmore, where I apply what I've learned in the classroom outside of the classroom. But I think Samoa made that bridge even clearer because so much of what I learned I had to apply when I attended church or when I was with host families or when I was interacting with other students on campus for my ISP project. So I think everything sort of culminated more so than it does here in the States.
Sure. And then I guess, we touched a little bit briefly about the host families, but another cool, important, part of the Samoan program is that you're actually on a university campus, which is a little different than our others. Could you talk about that experience a little bit?
Yeah. So everyone is in a double arrangement with another student. It was randomized for my class.
Okay.
And the main difference this year compared to other years with the Samoa program was that our dormitory was farther away from the majority of the other dorms, which it made it a little more difficult to interact with students and get out of the American bubble. But overall, I think being on campus was a really good experience. There were many opportunities to get to interact with other students, whether it was in the dining hall, playing sports in the evening, or just studying together in the library.
Sure.
And it was a little different being on campus sort of every other week throughout the program, knowing that we had excursions elsewhere in the Pacific. But I think it was always nice to return and know that you had friendships that you were establishing on campus to return back to.
Definitely. And so what was your favorite aspect of the program?
My favorite aspect, I think I have two.
Okay.
One was definitely the host families. I think every single one of them was very different, but they all really, I guess, reinforced how central family is as a core cultural value in the Pacific. So no matter which country I was in or how big the family was or what their socioeconomic status was, it was always a very warm welcome that I received, and also a huge learning experience that I don't think any textbook could ever teach you.
Sure.
And my second favorite part was definitely the ISP project time. I really enjoyed the opportunity to look at something I was personally interested in instead of having something assigned to me the way that things tend to happen in the States. And it was really exciting just to look at something so, I guess, personally relevant and something that could help me connect with students on campus.
Yeah, so could you expand a little bit on what your ISP topic was on?
Sure. I looked at Disney's film Moana, and I sort of looked at whether or not students from around the Pacific, not just Samoa, but all countries and regions in the Pacific, whether they felt accurately represented in the film. And because the directors of the film claim that the representation in the film is supposed to be Pan-Pacific, I was looking to see whether that claim held true among Pacific Islanders.
Great, that sounds really interesting and definitely very relevant right now. And so have you I know a lot of students are kind of able to take their independent study projects back to campus and work it into like a senior thesis or capstone. Is that something you plan on doing at Skidmore?
It's not, I'm supposed to do a quantitative project when I come back.
Oh, okay.
Study with more qualitative, but I plan on submitting it for grad school writing sample.
Oh, great. Great. So if someone had never heard of SIT before, how would you describe it in a few words or even a few sentences?
I think SIT is, I think one of its strongest facets is the experiential learning portion of any semester experience wherever you are in the world. And I think it's not all study abroad programs have the independent study project portion or some culminated research part at the end, but I think that was one of the strongest parts of the program, and knowing that everything I was learning was leading up to pursuing my own personal interest.
Great.
So strong in that aspect.
Sure. And had you had any previous research experience before? I know the ISP can be a little bit intimidating for some people. It's their first time, doing this type of project.
Actually, I didn't have any formal written past experience with sort of a big research project, but I have had little trainings and little mini papers that I guess sort of set me up pretty well to do this one.
Great.
But it was a little intimidating, but I liked it.
Good, yeah. I feel like a lot of students come out of it feeling really confident. It's a big accomplishment. Well, so those are all the questions I had. Was there anything else you'd like to add before we end the broadcast?
I guess I would emphasize how important it is to research the country you're going to, whether it's Samoa or any other country. Just because I know a lot of students end up going into programs without really expecting some of the challenges that they might come across, and sometimes those can be very overwhelming. And I know Samoa challenged me in countless ways, so I think it's important that people understand that going in, so they're not hit by surprise. And I would say one of the biggest benefits to me was talking to alumni of the program, some of whom go to Skidmore, so that was useful to have those one-on-one conversations. And everyone's experience is going to be totally unique, but it was nice to have that feedback for packing advice or just adjusting to local norms and those kinds of things. Great.
Well, that's really good advice. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope a lot of students are able to watch this, since it will be very useful for their application process.
Thank you so much.